What is music to make a change? This project believes music is the key to change the world. Music to Make a Change is a series of recitals that invites people to reflect on their lives and question their actions. With our music, we are inviting you to face the situation of the world as it is, so we can all make something about it. With music of living Black and Mexican composers, and with a glimpse of the life and opinion of all the people involved in this series, Music to Make a Change is gonna put a seed of change and a will to fight for all the change in all of us. There are two associations involved in this project, Castelo for Skins and Racismo MX. They need all the help we can give. Now we can start by donating through PayPal. That way, they can keep fighting every day to make a change in the world. We need to be aware of our actions. We need to give love and be humble enough to accept the change. Because we all need the change. The world needs us to change. Then, what else do we need to do it? Let the music be the change the world needs. Hi, my name is Armando Ortiz Montenegro. Today in Música por un Cambio, we have an amazing day. Today is the day where we hear the second part of Manuel Machado's recital. He's gonna play two of the 6 studies for marimba by the great composer Fred Surke. And not only that, hold on your horses, because today we also have an amazing talk with Fred himself. And let me tell you that he is just an amazing human being. First of all, let me say that, let me put that on the table. He's an amazing human being. He's super knowledgeable, and he is gonna give us an amazing talk. We're gonna learn a lot, and we're gonna think a lot. So after today's interview and today's recital, I bet that you would be a different person. You will be a different person. Yeah, that's right. I think you will be a different person. I think you will start asking more questions. I think you will start looking for more answers and doing more research. So, first of all, thank you, Manuel, for your great performance, because I can't wait to show it to the people here today that are watching us. And thank you, Fred. Thank you, because your knowledge, your personality, your words, your wisdom, everything that you gave us today, including your music, will help change the people, the world. Okay, so that was the introduction. Let's go hear some good music by the great composer Fred Surke. Or for the friends, we are all friends here, Fredo. So here is Manuel Machado in his marimba, and then afterwards we have the amazing interview with Fredo. Hello, everybody. Today in Música por un Cambio, we have a great guest. We have a great composer. He has a huge career, and we're going to talk about this career. We're going to talk about his influence in the world. He is Fred Honorel Surke, and we're here with him, and we're gonna call him Fredo because now we are kind of friends a little bit. So
We're not kind of, we're friends.
so hi Fredo, how are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I'm very happy that you're here with us. So tell us a little bit of yourself and of your career for the people that might not be acquainted with you.
Well, as your introduction said, my name is Fred Onovelos. Okay, uh, it's a very difficult last name, so everybody calls me Fredo. So that is perfectly all right. Um, and as you noted in our little chat, part of the introduction, I was born in Ghana, in West Africa, and my parents originally were from Nigeria, moved to Ghana. That's where we were all born. Um, if you know a little bit about, Ghana, it was formerly colonized by the British. So it is English speaking, but something that is very, very unique about Ghana is that it's got a very, very strong music tradition, you know. So it was one of those colonies where the British influence of classical music really, really took on. And today, Ghana is still one of those countries where music discipline, musical performance, and creation is most widely known. So that's the background to which I grew up. Eventually, I went. When my father died in Ghana, the family moved to Nigeria, where I went to engineering school, electrical and electronics engineering. So I did study engineering, traveled a little bit, trying to make money. Came to America actually, thinking, oh, I'm going to do very well in the computer industry, But all throughout, music wouldn't let go. So eventually, my life took a complete turn for me, and I have been writing since then. So essentially, that's basically my life history. The rest you can read about in my website, which is radiomusic.com.
with the small thing that you already told us, you told us a lot of things, and I'm very excited to ask you about each one of them. And the first thing that I'm going to ask you is about this strong music tradition that Ghana has to offer to the world. Um, you said that it is a British colony and it has the influence of the British musical tradition, which is basically the Western European classical music tradition. But what is this musical tradition that originated in Ghana?
Um, there are there are just a diverse um, kinds of music around Ghana. Uh, there's diverse traditional music all over the country, but there are also diverse popular music, you know. And so because of British influence, the idea of classical music also became big. When I was little in Ghana, you know, I was a boy choir, you know, in the British tradition where, you know, we sang Palestrina, William Byrd, Orlando Gibb, so like Renaissance and, you know, Festival of Benjamin Britten's Festival of Carols and things like that. That's how I grew up, you know, very, very Anglican and, you know, Catholic rich tradition. So because of that, the interest in classical music, you know, became quite, you know, well established. And I like to define classical music as a vehicle, you know, uh, where each of us can practice from our different cultural perspectives.
Okay.
You understand? I also like to describe classical music as, for example, English language. Okay, so you and I are speaking English language. I'm speaking with a different accent. You're speaking with a different accent. The British speak the English, true English language, of course. Americans speak English with American accent. And if a Frenchman speaks English, he or she is also going to speak with a different accent. So the point is that the language, the form, the rules, or lack of rules, the structures of classical music are pretty much the same. How we approach it is what makes it interesting. I feel that Mexicans should be able to have the freedom to approach classical music from their own cultural perspective. I feel that Africans should be able to approach classical music from their own cultural perspective. Because mind you, until the middle of the 19th century, the Russians were not too much involved. But then down the road, you had people like promoters like Sergei Diaghilev, you know, who came to Paris with Ballet Russe, you know, came with a bunch of ration and a lot of money, and they started promoting a lot of things. So today, we celebrate Tchaikovsky, we celebrate Mussorgsky, Kabalevsky, a lot of Russian influences. But that was always not the case. So at some point in the middle of the 19th century, the Russians were able, through using their own resources, they were able to give to classical music their own cultural lenses. Do you understand?
Yeah.
One more example is that until Mozart, the idea of classical music opera used to be that you could only use Italian for opera. Everybody said, well, German is not singable, French is not singable, or if it's going to be opera, It's got to be Italiano. You understand? Then Mozart came, and that changed everything. Magic flute. And then Wagner came. Today we worship Wagner in the ring cycle, which is German language. The point I'm trying to make is that classical music is the same vehicle, it's a language. And each of us from around the world should be able to express ourselves through our own cultural lenses. It's not an exclusive white European thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that interest also took root in Ghana, where, you know, we were taught to compose, but in my own case, I decided, because in the early days of writing 4-part harmony, there was always the rules, or you have to do it the way Bach did it or Mozart did it. And down the road, I decided to be different. I decided that in Africa, we have a lot of harmonic modes, rhythmic ideas. So I decided to start expressing classical music differently, using the wealth of resources that Africa has, you know, and that's rhythm, and a lot of rhythm patterns, that's melody, a lot of melodic ideas, and that's harmony, a lot of different harmonic modes. So I am lucky in that I've been able to travel in about more than 35 different countries around Africa, and I'm able to use materials from these research and this travel and this involvement to create new kinds of classical music.
This way is just so interesting to see what you told us about how classical music should be this thing where we need to approach our own culture and use this language, but within our own culture. And the fact that you have done this in your research over a big part of Africa, like 35 different countries in Africa. How was this for you to express all of these cultures? How was this for you to understand, and what process or did you needed to do to achieve and to talk and to um, actually portray these cultures into classical music? What was the process?
That's a very good question. Uh, for example, in East India, Pakistan, okay, they have what we call ragas. And ragas could be melodic, could be harmonic, could be rhythmic. The same way in Africa. In Africa, we have a lot of different rhythmic patterns, you know, rhythmic ideas. Okay? In Western classical forms, you have the duple, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the walls, triple, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, see, in Africa, we don't think like that. Okay? We think about patterns. Think about so that's a pattern. You know, there could be another pattern. There could be another pattern. Or you can so, I mean, across Africa, these all have names. You understand? So that is just rhythm. A lot of different ideas. There are about 1,600 distinct African cultures, languages. 1,600. Now, when I say distinct, meaning the languages are so different that you speaking Mexican, Spanish, the other language is going to be as different as Russian. 1,600 different. Now, that also means 1,600 thousands of ideas, musical ideas. So that's just rhythm. But in Africa, like in East India or Pakistan, we have what we call melodic and harmonic modes. See, in Western conservatories, you are used to, a lot of people are used to diatonic scale and, you know, uh, chromatic scale, uh, minor, major, see, or at worst, pentatonic scale. In Africa, we have a lot of different scales. You know, we have the diatonic 7-note scale, but we also have hexaphonic scale, whole tone scale. And even whole tone scale, the intervals vary. And listen to this, the interval vary according to languages. So the way a hexatonic scale is used in Senegal or Gambia or Mali may not necessarily be the same way it's used in, say, Burundi in Central Africa. Then we have a lot of different pentatonic scales, 5-note scales, thousands of them. Once again, the way a penta is not do mi sol la do, do mi sol la do. That's the traditional pentatonic scale in Western conservatory. Yeah? But in Africa, pentatonic scale doesn't mean do mi sol la do. No way. See, pentatonic scale, the way it's used in a country like Mozambique is different from the way it's used in a country like Ghana. It's different from the way in a place in Somalia or Djibouti or Eritrea or Kenya. So we have diversity, thousands of modes of expression. So I hope you're following what I'm trying to say. So I have this rich resource in that while a Western trained classical musician, classical composer, have a diatonic scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you know, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la. I have thousands of different harmonic modes, thousands of different rhythmic ideas. So you see, I don't think I've even, until I die, I won't even be able to touch enough of what we have to offer from Africa. So that is why I say I am very lucky.
And I mean, there is so much going on. I mean, first of all, I didn't know all of this diversity that happened in Africa, and it has so many things that are just so rich. Especially this thing that you told me that uh, the music dependent on the language, and dependent on the culture. That was the most interesting fact because. Uh, for the classical music world, as you said, it's just one thing and it's the same from everybody, for everybody.
Yeah.
But the fact that music and in every part of Africa is treated as a part of their unique culture,
Mhm.
it's just mind blowing. It just opens the world of music 1,000 times bigger. As you mentioned, the basically all everything comes together with African music. Like
Absolutely.
I'm assuming that there's a lot of all of the different aspects of each culture are also portrayed on each kind of music, right?
Oh yes, oh yes. There are what I call commonalities, you know, um, commonalities in rhythm, commonalities in harmonic ideas, commonalities in melodic ideas. Um, uh, the early slaves to the Americans, not just Americans, not just not just the United States, but Central America, South America, Brazil, Cuba. See, the early slave brought some of those ideas, you know. Um, so you can see some of those ideas, rhythmic ideas, melodic ideas expressed in, you know, jazz, gospel, ragtime, reggae, reggaeton, calypso, you know, and so on and so, you know, bossa nova and all that. But these are just little elements imported from Africa by the early slaves. Later, there is a whole lot more still untouched, still untouched. You know, remember, if you follow the history of slavery, back in the slave days of slavery in the Americas, the slave masters used to prevent the Africans from practicing their culture. You understand? So there was a lot they could not practice. You understand? So what has created almost the different forms of music we have today in the Americas is just a little bit. There is still so much more that needs to be discovered in Africa, you know. And I am hoping, I'm praying that the economic situation will become better around Africa so that we can now produce new composers, new musical ideas to share with the rest of the world.
There is a concept that I was reading on your bibliography that is very resembled to all of these that we're talking, that is the traceable musical Africanisms.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
And in this concept, you name that you were doing music based on these traceable musical Africanisms. Can you explain us a little bit more about this influence?
You see, Africanisms are ideas that began in Africa, you know, and Africanisms could be rhythmic, could be melodic, could be harmonic, you know. Um, and these Africanisms, in some cases, uh, no, first of all, traceable African ideas in the diaspora. That's what we call, that's what we define as Africanism, not in Africa, but in the diaspora. And in the diaspora could be big. It could be North America, it could be Europe, it could be Asia, you know. Um, some of these Africanisms are pure, you know, but some of these Africanisms, because of mingling, association with different cultures, they become what I call mutated or mixed. You understand?
Yeah.
You know, like you see, if you listen to a lot of reggaeton, pam, 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 pam. You see, then it deviates, you know, it deviates into different things. See, but that basic structure of pam, 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 that's a pure Africanism. Came all the way from the continent. It never changed. No matter how much the slaves mixed with other people, that pure Africanism never changed. See, if you have reggae, for example, or when it's ska, see, that's a pure Africanism, never changed. Never changed. Then something we all call Afro-Cuban. Then different aspect coming. See, that is a pure Africanism. No matter what the early slave mixed with, that part of it never changed. It's pure. Now, here is an African rhythm that never made it to the New World. See, that you can only hear in the continent.
Yeah. Mm. So interesting.
So, so the so essentially, Africanism are ideas that traveled with early slaves and now new African immigrations. And in the new world, whatever that new world is, some of those ideas are still original, but a lot of it, have changed and created new forms: bossa nova, calypso, gospel, jazz, and R&B and whatever, everything. People don't like me saying this, but you cannot deny history. We cannot deny history. We cannot deny archaeology. You know, we cannot deny anthropology. History, archaeology, anthropology all points to the fact that a lot of things began in Africa. You know, we may want to twist things and change it any way we want, but a lot of things began in Africa. A lot of musical ideas began in Africa. And I want music conservatories to understand that we have an opportunity to research for a whole lot more that has been untouched from Africa. Because don't take my word, you just need to visit the continent to really say, oh wow, gosh, what's this rhythm? What's that melody? Oh gosh, what kind of harmony? See, there are cultures all out. See, in Western composition ideas, see, we call some things harmonious, we call some combination, oh, that's dissonant, oh, that's consonant. See, in a lot of Africa, there is what we consider consonants, but dissonance can be very normal. And dissonance can be semitonal, half tonal, but dissonance, delicious dissonance, can also be microtonal. It's normal. So you can hear some people singing in parts of Africa. You say, wow, what's this? So that's why composers like Steve Reich, when he went to study in Ghana, he said, look, Ghana changed my entire life as a composer. He said he spent 6 months there. He said, you know what? Even if I remained in Ghana and die here, I don't think I will even touch a fraction of the resources that Africa has. So that's, to me, that's the next frontier.
How interesting is this, that most of the things that exist in the world right now are were born in Africa and are influenced by this richness of culture and people across history, as you said. And also, it's so interesting that things began there, but it is part of our duty to aim to the future, looking at those things that began there.
Yes.
One thing that you mentioned, that conservatories need to understand, and music schools and schools of every field need to understand that there is so much knowledge uh, there. It's not hidden, it's just there, and we need to be able to be open and be able to be willing to understand, be willing to put that knowledge, that culture, that history in the place that it belongs. Because
Yeah.
I know that for many thousand years, this has not been the case. This has not been the case. But you said it's our duty of these new generations of musicians, composers, historians, archaeologists, to do this research, to put this knowledge and this culture and these people where they belong, in a place, in a higher place that they belong, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a concept that I wanted to talk to you about, about African music, because I know that African music is not just sounds.
Mhm.
It involves a lot more things. Like I know that it involves a visual aspect, it involves a moving aspect, like a dance aspect. There's an interaction between the music and the audience and
Yes.
the performers. Can you tell us a little bit about all of these aspects that involves African music?
Uh, like you said it very well.
No.
It has different aspects. You have, especially in the traditional settings, you have, you know, call and response, one leader calls, the community responds. You have the concept of hemiola or hocket, where you have rhythmic ensemble. You have different members of the ensemble taking fragments of the rhythm, and when it's together, then you have a master drummer, lead drummer, you know, demonstrate uh, and interact with dancers. And then you have music that is, most of traditional music tends to be very functional. What I mean is by functional is that it's for a purpose, you know. Uh, is it music for the celebration of a newborn child, or is it music for weddings, traditional marriage, or is it music for death in the family, or is it music for gossip, or is it music because uh, your sister likes a gentleman in another family, so uh, that family needs to hire musicians to come perform, and so music tend to be very, very functional in that way. Um, but there is also the kind of music that is inflective or reflective. That is, uh, things happen and the musician just play to himself or herself, or music that's reflective. Somebody needs to meditate about something, pray about something. There is music for that as well. You understand? So these are the different types of music that goes on. Now, that's in the traditional domain, you know. A classical composer now has all of these opportunities. He can now use the tool of compositions that he's learned and now take new cultural lenses to create new forms of musical ideas. That is what I think an opportunity that music conservatory students are missing. We keep wanting to stretch the harmonic parameter in the Western music. We have been stretching the harmonic parameter for 300 years. We have nowhere to go. You understand? The journey is almost ended. So it's time for, you know, conservatory students to look around them, you know, look what the traditional fishermen are doing in Mexico, doing in Brazil. Stay away from the churches, because the churches don't teach you anything. See, the church keeps you away from real tradition, you know, because the church just tells you a certain cultural parameter, which tends to be very, very European. But the world is not all European. The world is South America. The world is Caribbean America. The world is Africa. The world is India. The world is China. We need to reach into other areas, other opportunities, and draw out resources to enrich classical music. Because if we don't do that, classical music is just going to remain exclusive to concert halls, exclusive just to the rich people. but it's a wonderful form of disciplined music. I call it art music that deserves to benefit from the ideas, the cultural ideas of new immigrants, the cultural ideas not known, Native American cultures, East India cultures, African cultures. We all stand to benefit if we can just be a little bit curious, and not think that everything has to sound like Beethoven or Mozart or, Poulenc, or, I love Debussy. Debussy is just very, very, he likes to reach into a lot of different things. Stravinsky, for example, loves to reach. So everything good cannot be what draws from European or Christian ideas. Everything good in classical music to enrich the corpus, the body of repertoire, needs to be able to draw from the different cultures that we are now beginning to find out. It's an opportunity, instead of keeping people out, we should be inviting people in.
What a wonderful phrase. Instead of just taking away other people's cultures, just bring them cultures back, bring the cultures in, adapt what we already know to what we don't know, because there's a lot of things that we don't know. And I there's people that have so much to say. There's cultures, there's history that we need to be open to. As you said, it is such a wonderful way to describe what music needs and what music is capable of. Because as you said, music is capable of embracing all of these
Yeah.
cultures, embracing all of these uh, traditions, all of these people, all of these languages, all of these ways to see the world in different ways. So I'm very, very happy that you said that, because it's just basically the whole point of this recital series, to see how the world can be seen in a different perspective. It's not everything the same. As you said, not everything needs to sound like Mozart, like Beethoven, like it needs to sound, it needs to be a unique perspective, and we need to respect, we need to honor, and we need to give the place to this unique perspective of the world, of everybody. So thank you for giving us this uh,
Not at all.
this message, because it means a lot for everybody, for them to be able to start doing some research, start reaching out of the boundaries that were placed into their education, into their work, and everything. So I wanted to ask you if you wanted to add one last thing before we finish the interview.
No, I think if first of all, thank you for having me. This has been a wonderful exchange because I'm also learning from listening to you. Um, if I'm to add anything, I like to repeat what I said earlier. Um, Classical music has a lot to benefit from local people. You know, Students in our conservatories need to get away from the church. I mean, you can go to church, socialize, but don't think that the music you hear in the church is the standard of holy music. Reach into your community, go to the markets, go to the carnivals, attend some of the rituals, hang out with with with, with the fishermen and fisherwomen, hang out with the farmers and listen to how they sing, how they communicate, how they make the work easier through songs and dances and instruments, and then find ways to bring that, use that to create new forms of classical music. When we do that, we attract more people to classical music performances. because the ordinary people will hear ideas from their community in new classical musical forms. You know, so to only reach out to European, American ideas to create in classical music is to limit ourselves. We need to embrace what we have around us, because there's a lot of cultural richness that is our duty into the conservatories, because that's how you create the future of classical music.
Well, then it's up for us to, as you said, reach out, create the future of classical music, and create a future that is worth it. You know, music has a lot to offer, as you said. There are a lot of people that has a lot to offer, and I'm very thankful for what you said. I'm very thankful for you for this interview. It was, as you said, it was a, a great time. I enjoyed myself, and I bet that the people that are watching us are as well are learning a lot and enjoying themselves. So thank you, Fredo, for your amazing interview and the music that we hear today. Thank you for your music and the research and all the things that you are giving us for us to learn it and for us to embrace all of these things that you have done and the things that we need to learn from you and the things that we need to learn from where they originated. Africa has a lot to offer. It's a great continent. We need to give the place that it deserves as a
Yeah,
great continent. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for today, and I hope we can hear from you sooner than
absolutely,
later. As I
absolutely.
told you, today was a great day in Música por un Cambio. Thank you, Fredo, for your music and your knowledge, your great sense of humor, your personality. It was an amazing interview. And thank you, Manuel, for your amazing interpretation. These 2 weeks performing Fredo's music and also performing Eduardo's Caballero music, it was just a great 2 weeks on Música por un Cambio. I'm very happy that you are here with us and that you are sticking in this recital series because we all here want to change something, and I'm very happy that we are all together doing this. Please feel free to check Fredo's music and to check Eduardo Caballero's music because both of them are amazing composers. They both have a website and also music on YouTube, so feel free to reach them out, to check their music and do some research because we need to change the way classical music works. We need to change the way everything in the world works, and we can do it. I know we can do it. Let me tell you what's going to happen next week because next week we have a guitar recital. I know this is the first time and I'm very excited. I'm very excited because in next week's recital we have Jorge Luis Hernandez. He's a dear friend of mine. He's a Mexican guitarist, an amazing person, an amazing performer, and he's gonna play music by Ernesto Garcia de Leon and by Sergio Lopez Lerma. Two amazing Mexican composers, and you're gonna love the music, you're gonna love the performance. The conversations that we had with Jorge are just amazing. So please follow along. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, to our social media on Música por un Cambio, both in Facebook and Instagram, to follow along the series. There's plenty of videos. Today was the 26th video of the recital series, so if you haven't seen the rest, you have plenty of homework. But I'm gonna tell you, this is a very enjoyable homework because it's a learning, a changing, and a very deep experience. So I invite you all to keep checking the videos of this recital series, to follow the artist, to look for new music, to look outside the box. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And also, there's two associations that we are supporting with this recital series, raising funding for them. So if you want to give a donation for Castle of Our Skins or Racismo MX. In the description of the video, you can find the links to do it. Don't forget that you need to have a PayPal account for doing the donations. So let's keep supporting each other. There are plenty associations that want also to receive support because they're doing an amazing job. We have these two associations. There's plenty of them. Do some research. Feel free to give your support to everybody that needs it. My name is Armando Ortiz Montenegro. And let the music be the change the world needs. See you soon.